Is Egypt safe for female travelers? I've been to Egypt 4 times, and these are the good and bad parts of traveling in Egypt, and also just the reality. Now, when you get in an Uber in Egypt, it can be a little bit annoying because occasionally you'll get a driver that demands cash in dollars. This is always 5 to 10 times more than the actual price of the Uber, and they refuse to cancel, and sometimes they force you to actually get into their car before telling you this. Usually I just cancel and call a new car. As far as harassment at the pyramids, this is not something that I've personally experienced. But I cannot negate the experience of other women. And I've spoken about this, but for the cultural sites, I personally like to have a guide because this gives me some insight into the history. Now let's go back and talk about harassment from men specifically towards foreign women. I think this is something that is spoken about a lot when it comes to Egypt. Even in my comments recently, people have said, I would never go to Egypt. Do you remember what happened to that reporter in 2011? Basically what happened was absolutely horrific. There was a reporter and she was basically gang raped. This was during the revolution and it was a huge riot and people were basically freaking out in Tahrir Square. Again, I'm not going to negate this experience. What happened is horrific and disgusting. All I can say is that every country has good and bad people. I don't think any country would prefer their worst moment by a handful of people to be used to define the entire country for eternity. There is also a huge difference in culture between different cities. For example, right now I'm here in Siwa and the culture here is completely different from Cairo or other cities. Siwa is an Amazigh culture and people here are incredibly hospitable and friendly and just act completely differently from the people in Cairo. Not to say that people in Cairo aren't nice and hospitable, but you know what I mean. Anyway, let me know your specific questions down below and I'll try and get into more in another video because there's a lot to unpack here.